1 year after interviewing for and failing to get the Minnesota Vikings job, Jim Harbaugh said his annual dance with the NFL had ended. Quote, "This will not be a recurring theme," he said last year. "This was a one-time thing." Well, Rece, we'll find out in the next few weeks whether that's the reality. Harbaugh won nearly 70% of his NFL games in San Francisco. He's number 6 all-time in NFL history by win percentage. Combine that with going 25-3 the last 2 years at Michigan, and Jim Harbaugh has never been hotter in NFL circles. He's expected to be linked to the jobs in Indianapolis, where he was a star player, and also in Denver, and maybe even in the conversation for the Carolina Panthers job. It appears Harbaugh's back on the floor for his annual dance.
Well, Pete, Jim said he would enthusiastically return as a Michigan coach in 23, but what else is he going to say when you get asked a question like that? And to the Broncos' point, I don't know how strong the relationship is or anything like that, but it is worth noting that Condoleezza Rice is part of that Broncos group, ownership group, search group, and the Stanford connection there. What do you think? What do you maybe not even almost what are you wishing for with Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, you're talking a lot about the Denver Broncos.
You run the Colts.
And
what do you have for us?
They have the richest owner in the NFL, and there's obviously no salary cap on coaching. So they could break the bank and pay Jim Harbaugh a ridiculous amount of money. Sean Payton also getting linked. But I think we talked about on Saturday how impressed I was with Harbaugh, because after last year with the dance that they had, it came out and was like, we're not going to be a distraction every single year about me going to the NFL, which he could definitely do, utilize it as leverage, renegotiate, but it might affect future Michigan Wolverines not wanting to commit because they don't know the stability. So it's not Harbaugh's fault that he's won 70% of his NFL games. It's not Harbaugh's fault that he's beloved by a lot of people in the NFL. But this is a real conversation, especially with the way the world is going right now with NIL. And can Michigan win a natty? That's going to be the big question going forward. Can they? I think they can. But if Jim gets tempted somewhere else, like let's say Indianapolis, a place where he's in the Ring of Honor, in a team that needs a lot of help, and maybe a full culture change, that's what he has done very well. So Jim's in a great position. But I don't think this is necessarily the Michigan people pushing him out. I think this is everybody else hoping they can pluck him from Michigan, and we'll see how it unfolds.
And there's a reason why. Obviously, he's good. Rece, what was your saying the other day? You said
this is what I believe. It's a compliment. If somebody else doesn't want your coach, sooner or later you're not going to want him either.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a good thing that the NFL guys want Jim Harbaugh.
But I think there's also a big push for college coaches to get to the NFL now. With NIL, with the Wild Wild West, with recruiting 24/7, like there's a lot that goes into your job. So I think that college coaches are more likely now than ever to jump to the NFL. So I think it makes sense. And I'm not just talking about Harbaugh. We're going to hear Ryan Day's name. Mm-hmm. We'll probably hear Kirby Smart's name. Like we're probably going to hear all these guys' names because there's a lot that goes into that college job now that didn't have to deal with back in the day that honestly ain't real fun.
Well, with the college game coming into the NFL as well. Yeah. Offense coordinator positions potentially going to be available, Des, everywhere for these college coaches, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving. You can set your watch to this. This happens every time this time of the year. He's not leaving.
I think I think he enjoys being back there.
He seems to be having fun in Ann Arbor. I think, we've talked about other teams maybe leaking this that hurt, recruiting and things of that nature. I've heard nothing about Jim wanting to leave Ann Arbor.
Now, last year he went and visited the Vikings.
He did.
So last year there was validity to it.
But
and it's just interesting.
But listen. Just because that happened last year, it's like if you put something out there enough, eventually something's going to come close to what you're saying. You know what I mean? It doesn't make it valid. It's just something's going to come close. Like if you repeatedly say the same thing year after year after year, like if I say, well, I don't know, this team is going to get to the national championship game. Eventually they're going to get in the playoffs and say, see, they were close. I was right, but you said it like 8 years in a row. You know what I mean? So last year, whatever happened, but we're talking about 2023. I don't see him leaving Ann Arbor.
I love that. I wish you'd come to the Colts, though. But they seem like they got the team, though. They got the culture. They got the
He's doing it right. There's no doubt.
Yeah. He's on the happy mission. But we'll see if the happy mission continues on. David, I think your point's a great one because all of us talk to coaches, and you're starting to hear more of that. Over the years, I've always said a great college job like Michigan, is better than an NFL job because you're in full control.
Yeah.
Well, now all of the things that you have to be in full control of, maybe it's not so good anymore, and there are other things.
Right.
There are a lot of guys are wanting to go there.
I would take a college job in a second, though, because the pay.
Oh, that's true, too.
Take a college job just to
You
get
know what I'm
fired,
saying,
baby.
bro? Just to fire me and give me the payout. Give me that buyout, baby. You kidding me?
To that degree, Ryan Day mentioned in our production meeting, he's going to stop calling plays next year because he needs to become more of a manager as a head coach. And when you're prepping the game plan, there's a lot more that goes into it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to be ready to call those plays on Saturday. So he's thinking about maybe relinquishing those, which would be the first time ever. And you know, I don't know who, and Brian Hartline or whoever would be involved in that.
He called his butt off the other night, though.
Yeah,
he called a hell of a game that night against Georgia.
He did.
Des,
Time out.
fake
Time
punt,
out.
fourth
Time out.
quarter,
Time
up
out.
11. That's a
Time out.
big call.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.